I'm Tina Vestal, and I own Vibrant Travel. My agency works with curious travelers that look for authentic and unique experiences. So that's why I've invited Sebastian Leroy here to talk to us about some really great experiences with Amel waterways. Today we'll talk about the Rhine castles in Swiss Alps with Lake Como, like we were just talking about. And to share a little bit about Sebastian, he's originally from France and studied winemaking in school, during college, I should say, and actually became a winemaker in Germany. So it's perfect tie-in with what we're talking about today along the Rhine. In addition, he has been with Amel Waterways for quite some time. He has worked both on shore and on ship. So his wealth of experience is welcomed, and he will be able to share with us many, I'll say, secrets of traveling on the river with Amel Waterways. So I will let Sebastian take it away now and talk to us about this amazing cruise.
Thank you, Tina. I mean, I really think what I will do is that I will keep a piece of the recording, because it's a very nice introduction. So I'll send that to other travel partners to say, like, this is how you should do it. But thank you very much. Yeah, my name is good evening, everyone. Thank you. Happy New Year to all of you. First of all,
Happy New Year.
Thank you for being here tonight. Hope the year started well, that everybody is healthy, is safe. I'm Sébastien Leroy. So I am still actually a cruise manager for Amel Waterways. I'm also a business development manager for Amel Waterways, so here in Florida. And Amanda Thompson just entered the waiting room. So if you hear me sometimes stopping, it's probably because somebody is trying to enter. And yeah, 10 years with Amel Waterways. Before that, quite a while in the wine industry, working as a winemaker, but also as working in collaboration with the German wine control. So which was the very fun part of it, because basically I was taken pretty much everywhere in Europe in quite important wine contests, wine competitions, and I was in the jury. So basically my job was to drink the wine. So that's why we consider ourselves professional alcoholics.
Great job.
And it's been, you learn a lot. You learn a lot about people, because when you're in these huge competitions, and that's actually the wine world that brought me to the cruising world. You're in these competitions, and you get really to know people from everywhere in the world. So it's really a great time to discover other wines, but really also talk to other cultures. And talking about other cultures, the first picture I always like to start, of course, with the heart and soul of this very company, and these are our owners, because Amel Waterways is a river cruise line that was founded 18 years ago. And it was founded by two families. And the great thing, in my opinion, is that after 18 years, the company has grown, of course, from 0 cruise ship at the beginning to 23 in 2020, and we will have 26 cruise ships in 2021. But we still have these two same families. Basically, Rudesheim, our CEO and president, and his wife Christine Karst, who at the time when they founded the company, they were not married, but now they are. And so our co-founder and executive vice president, I really hope that you get to meet one of them when you go on a cruise ship, because they are on the ships a lot of times of the year, and they're really great people. I mean, very down to earth. I mean, they mingle with the guests all the time. Really great folks. And the third one, the gentleman that you see on the right, is certainly also a great person to meet on the ship, Gary Murphy, who is, so you will see that it's not written co-founder, it's written co-owner, because the co-founder was his dad, Jimmy Murphy, who passed away a few years ago. But the great thing is that his son basically carries his dad's legacy and continues basically to have the Murphy name in the company. And they're really great people. And as I said, I hope that you will have the opportunity to meet them on some of these cruises, because it's really fun to be around them. Now, before talking about our Rhine cruise itself and going to Lake Como at the end, I want to touch briefly on health and safety, because of course, well, we all know 2020, that's pretty much a year that we will try to forget as quickly as possible. In terms of cruising, but there was almost no cruising. And I say almost because we were the only North American river cruise line operating in 2020. We had, so we've been operating on the Rhine and on the Rhine-Main-Moselle from July to November. And for me, the great thing to say is that we've had about 1,700 passengers on board the ships, and so which was, of course, not a lot, but it was a great way for us to really make sure that our safety protocols were working, and they were, because in these 4 months of navigation, we've had absolutely zero COVID case, actually almost 5 months of navigation, zero COVID case. So this is a great thing. We have had, of course, quite a few protocols that we put in place from before the cruise or before the trip, where we were asking our guests to, for example, to give a medical self-assessment. 2 of them, so one about 3 weeks before the cruise, one about 3 days before the cruise. And of course, I'm talking about that. This will likely change this year, because of course the rules and the vaccine coming in, the countries now starting to adapt. On both sides of the pond, really. We can talk about North America, but and Europe. So there will be changes. But the great news is that we've always been following the instructions given to us, but we pushed them always further to make sure that that everything would be fine, and that the conditions of cruising for our guests would be the best. So of course, face covering was mandatory. And it might still be mandatory. I cannot tell you yet, but it might be mandatory when we will be in areas of the ship where the physical distancing is not possible. Frankly, I'm not sure that it will be mandatory, because the way we see how airlines are getting ready to get people from North America to Europe with basically having a proof that you have had the vaccine, etc. Let's hope that we will come back to a normal situation. But in case we need a mask, this will be in areas where, as I said, the physical distancing is not possible. So that will really be in the corridors, or if you're walking around in the lounge or in the restaurant, not when you're seated, obviously, and especially not when you're having dinner, because we all know that having dinner with a mask is not very easy. But also temperature checks and daily temperature checks have been performed and will probably continue to be. This is a very simple process, and I'm pretty sure that if any of you have been in a restaurant or any basically public place, either at the beginning of the pandemic or even more recently, everybody has these little thermometers. They do it either on the wrist or on the forehead. And it's a 3 seconds deal, and then it's done. Then you can go and have your breakfast. So if you're not behaving well, no breakfast. So clean air. This has been something that was very important. But we put it here because there was a lot of information that was rather confusing, coming from all these media sources where everybody knew better than the other, but at the end of the day, none of them really knew what was going on. And why do we say clean air? Because it is important to talk about air that is not recirculated. That's really what we're talking about. It's air that has a one-way cycle. So we have, each and every cabin has its own air system. There is no recirculation around the ship, which means that there is no cross circulation from the lounge to the restaurant, for example, or from the fitness center to the chef's table restaurant, which is our second dining venue in the back of the ship. And so it is a one-way. Each and every area has their own filters that are cleaned. More than on a daily basis, because they are cleared constantly now. There will still be improvements coming, and there will probably be, for example, UV lights coming through the filters. So this will be something that is likely to come. But why do I say that it's not very new to us, this concept? Because when Rudy, our CEO, he's also an architect by trade, and when he's been designing the ships, we all know, I mean, that there have been in the past, and you probably heard of noroviruses and all these fancy names. So that's why we prepared the ship in order to make sure from scratch that there would be no possibility of contamination, or to mitigate as much as we could that. So that's why the ships have been built very well from the beginning, which is why we can say what we are doing instead of talking about what we will do in the future. You also see a little, you see a little sanitized luggage sign. So that's because we sanitize your luggage as soon as just before you arrive on the ship. Our teams are outside sanitizing completely the luggage. We bring the luggage to your stateroom, and when you arrive there, you're sure that everything is spot clean. Now, I will say that COVID has brought what I consider as a cruise manager some great things. And that's bizarre to say that this pandemic has brought some great things, but it really has in terms of comfort for our guests. What am I talking about? But when you see the exclusive airport transfers, when you will go and talk to Tina and tell her that you want to go absolutely on this Rhine River cruise and finish at Lake Como, of course, to go from the United States to Europe, but you will have to take a plane, and you have the possibility to work with us to get your air. And if you choose your air with AMA Waterways, you will have a private limousine transfer. It's not, we don't use buses anymore, and we won't. I mean, this is not something that is going to change. We have, for all guests who choose to take the air with AMA Waterways, you have a private limousine bringing you to the ship or to the hotel, depending where you start, and also at the end. So that's something, and of course it will be adapted to the size of your party. So that's something, that's what I call a nice improvement. But also you see on the ship itself, and that's a picture taken this summer. And I can tell you that because these folks, this beautiful couple there, they have become very famous in the company because they took 3 cruises. They loved it so much, they took 3 cruises this summer on board the ship. So we asked them if they would like to be part of our you know, I will not say marketing effort, but if they would be part of our brand ambassadors, if I may say so. And so what is it here? We have now ship-wide the possibility to have in-room dining. And it's not only dining, it can be breakfast, can be lunch, can be dinner. That's something important because of course we know even if the ship is very safe, even if the capacity at the moment, it will come back to normal, of course, in the future. But at the moment, you cannot have more than 100 guests on board the ship. So you have a lot of space. And when you only have 100 guests on board, you have space everywhere. I mean, you have space on board our ships always, and because we carry less passengers on board compared to some other river cruise lines. But still, you could have people who would like to just enjoy, I mean, when the ship is cruising like now, and you just want to look at what's around you, and you can have this butler service, this in-room dining service that is offered to you. And of course, when I'm talking about all these things that happen on the ship and also off the ship here on shore, all this is included. It is very, very easy for me to tell you what is not included rather than what is included. What is not included in a cruise line in a cruise with us at the beginning? Well, the gratuities, but that's not really a problem because if you talk to Tina, we can include them from scratch as well. And then what is it? But if you decide that you want a massage with our massage therapist, or if you want a haircut or a hair blow dry in the hair salon, and if you want to buy something in the shop, and if you want a drink at the bar after dinner, for example, that's it. All the rest is included, and that's why I think it is very important when you look at what you pay, what the value of your cruise is. That's something that is super important because many people, of course, think I am out. I've seen my travel agent and I'm paid in full, and I'm going and I will not spend a cent anymore. And many times you have some bad surprises because, especially when it comes to excursions, there are many things that are not very, very clear. I mean, luckily, the good thing with our, we work only with our travel partners. And I know by heart that Tina is very well educated, because I make sure that they know what, I mean, that our travel partners know what's included and not. And they know that they can call me if there is something they're not sure about, or any of my colleagues at Ama Waterways in the head office. But it is important to look at what do you get for your money. But now let's talk more about the excursions. So we have different levels of activities, because we know that not everybody walks at the same pace. Not everybody has the same walking capabilities. But so we have gentle walking tours, we have regular walking tours, we have active walking tours. But you see here, but that there are bikes on the, so because we offer guided bike tours. Now, if you look at the picture on the left, of course, this doesn't look like a bike tour, and it doesn't look like a regular walk. That's a hike, because we have, depending on where we are, and on pretty much all itineraries, we have hikes. The only itinerary that doesn't have any hike is Bordeaux. Why that? Because Bordeaux is completely flat. There is absolutely no, the vineyards are completely flat. So that's the only reason why there is no hike in Bordeaux. But don't worry, we can organize for you some very nice active walks. And one of them that I had, for example, to Chateau Lafite Rothschild. I mean, I'm sure you've heard this name before. And it's very nice to go there. You don't drink the wine, but you walk there and you've seen it. So, but let's come back to our Rhine River and our Lake Como. So as I mentioned to you, we have these different activity levels. We have late riser tours, and we will talk about the late riser tours in a few moments. But what is also very important is how will you enjoy this tour? And that's why this Quiet Vox technology, it is a great thing. You have, so you see, for example, and now I will show you with my clicker. So you see the gentleman here has this little gray machine, and the guide has the red one. So she has the transmitter, and everybody gets a little receiver, and this way you can walk. And it's great. And nowadays everybody wants to have some space, but with that you can be about 100 feet of the guide, and you will still hear what he or she says. So you don't have to be like 4 feet behind trying to understand. No, it is really a great tool, and we have that, of course, on all on all our, I mean, fleet-wide. The bikes, I just mentioned the guided bike tours, but you can also go on your own. You know, if the ship is docked somewhere, like we will see in a few minutes, for example, in Strasbourg or in Cologne, we are docked in the heart of the city. So you just go to the reception, you say, may I please take a bike today? And then we have different sizes of bikes. And as long as you have signed what we call the biking agreement, which is, you know, the typical form that says that if you break a leg or if something happens to you, that you give us everything. As soon as you've signed that, feel free to take the bike. As a cruise manager, the only thing I ask my guests is always to look at the watch, because we ask our guests to be back to the ship about 15 to 20 minutes prior to the all aboard time, just to make sure, you know, that everybody comes back comfortably. That's the only thing. So you have really a lot of, of course, there are the guided tours, and there are a lot of them. You will see that there are a lot of them. But if you're a little more independent, feel free. You will have the possibility to do things on your own. If you want to know about things, come to see your cruise manager. Ask. You want to have some special lunch with a Kölsch beer in Cologne? Go ahead. You want to go to Rudesheim and have a Wiener Schnitzel in the Rudesheimer Schloss? No problem. We will send you there. I mean, we know exactly where to go. So I'm talking about food. I'm talking about the nice drinks, etc. But we also have a program to burn extra calories. So we have our wellness hosts on board the ships, and this is a program that runs parallel to our excursion program. So they don't disturb each other. A lot of classes that are offered throughout the day starts in the morning, and then for those who do not take, for example, part to an excursion, because sometimes you just don't want, but you have the possibility to, I don't know, have yoga, for example, like with Andre on the sun deck, or you could go with Victor on an active walk at the Kaiser Steinfeld's hill that you have in Rudesheim, which I will show you in a few minutes. So they have a lot of programs. You can do core strengthening in the morning. They will do morning gentle stretches. Actually, Andre, the gentleman that you see completely on the far left, he is very good at doing Zumba classes. So really a lot of different things that you will be able to experience as well. And if you want a personal fitness trainer because you want to continue your fitness routine, they can also do one-on-one lessons. And we have a complete fitness center on board the ship. The experience, the culinary experience, it is amazing. You have multiple dining venues, and I like this little one because that's the chef's table. So that's there is, once again, no extra charge here. The only thing we ask our guests to go to the chef's table is to go and make a reservation. But since I don't know if Tina wants to go with you guys, I mean, what she can do, she can create a group. And then you can have your little private evening group at the chef's table. That's no problem at all. It is a tasting menu, so you have 7 courses and it's a wine paired dinner. And the wines, so of course they are, I mean, wine, beer, soft drinks, etc. That's complimentary for lunch and dinner. Champagne is complimentary for breakfast, and that's, of course, that's included. Yes, but we do not have a house wine. We don't do that. Reason, many people ask me, why don't you do that? And it's very easy, because if you don't like the house wine on day 1, you will not like it on day 5. That's for sure. So it is very important, and we are in the middle of wine regions everywhere. So we will bring you every day the wines from the region where you are. And there are a lot of things, a lot of nice things that are coming. For example, another thing I think that is great that that COVID has brought is that now you will really have the possibility to use and to be more independent and have a contactless. And I think the new term is contactless experience. And you do that with credit cards, you do that with everything. Well, our app is really great for that, because you can access all necessary information from your phone if you need. You can, and very soon, I'm not saying next year, but it's in the works. You will also be able to book your excursions on the phone. So it will be absolutely amazing. And the excursions, they are available to you 60 days prior to the departure of the cruise. You can check in when you do your check-in online. 2 months ahead, you can book your excursions. But I always say, and that's more the cruise manager talking, never feel rushed to really sign in online, etc., etc. Many people do that because they have the experience of ocean liners, where then a tour is booked and then there's no more space. I can promise to you this will not be the case on a river cruise. That's absolutely not happening. Why? Because we have small groups. We have very small groups with one guide. We never have, we always had that, never more than 20 people per guide. But now, during COVID, it was based on the European authorities, we could only have 12. So what do? If you have 3 guides and all of a sudden you have 40 people, but many other cruise lines would say, sorry to you 4, but that's not working. Well, we don't do that. What will happen is that we will just we will just call a 4th guide. We have backup guides in these cases. If I need another bus, I'll have another bus. That's not a problem. So that's why never feel rushed. Because why do I say that? Because let's say that you go for the first time on the Rhine, and we will get there now. So you will start in Amsterdam and you will finish in Basel. I may assume that it's your first time in these areas. And I may assume as well that you don't know everything about these areas. So why would you book a tour ahead of time where you will have seen a 2 or 3 lines description, not knowing what you will have, what will your alternatives will be? That's why ask the cruise managers. That's why we're here. We're pretty much your personal concierge here. So feel free. And at the beginning of the cruise on day 1, so what happens here? We will start in Amsterdam. And so you see that these are a few pictures of what happened again this summer. But when we start in Amsterdam, so let's say that we arrive at the airport. You will be welcomed by our team at the airport, the Ama Waterways team. And so let's say that you took the air with us, your driver is here, you're going to the ship. Once you arrive at the ship, you will be escorted to your cabin. There will be a quick check-in. We will verify at the check-in, for example, if there is anything we should know about dietary restrictions, because that's very important to know. And if there are some dietary restrictions or dietary requests, what we will do as well is that before the welcome cocktail, you will meet with the chef and with the maître d' to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Now, we will have our dinner, everybody goes to bed, it's a wonderful first evening. Next morning, Amsterdam city tour, which will be a tour that will start on the canal, so you will take a canal cruise, and then it's also partly by bus and also partly walking. So it's a 4-hour tour altogether. You're not walking 4 hours, and you're walking maximum 40 minutes on this tour. But you will get a great overview of the city, of the city. And when you come back on board, we will have lunch, and the ship will be cruising the entire afternoon and the entire night. So in the afternoon, your cruise manager, it's the first afternoon, will give you what we call a cruise overview. And the cruise overview will go through all the tours that you will have this week. And for those of you who have not signed up, no problem. You will be able to sign up on the spot. And it will be much better because you will have your cruise manager who will be here, and he or she will really describe to you what are the walking distances, are there cobblestones, where are the next public bathrooms. I mean, all these practical things that will help you really, tailoring your cruise. And the next day, we will be in Cologne. I mean, Cologne is an absolutely beautiful city, very famous, of course, for the cathedral, but also for the beer, the Kölsch beer, and that's actually just in front of the cathedral. So you will have a variety of experiences. You will have the possibility to take a walking tour. You will have a possibility to take a bike tour. You will have the possibility to also do what we call special interest tours. And the special interest tours are a little bit of a different approach to a city. Instead of just going to the main sites, but what does our special interest tour do? You go to a Kölsch tasting, and you go to so the Kölsch is the name of the beer. But you also will have German Laugenbrezel. So that's the very big, this huge pretzel that is made fresh, and you will get it at one of the best houses in town, best breweries in town. So it's a different experience. You will go, I mean, you can go, for example, and I'll just take a quick other example of a special interest tour. You would be on the Moselle, for example, in Cochem, and you have this beautiful, absolutely magnificent castle there. But you might want to see something else, because the truth is that a medieval castle, once you've seen that one inside, you've seen pretty much all of them, because they're all built on the same system. But what many people don't know is that in the cliff under this castle, there is a World War II Bundesbank, so the federal bank bunker. And you can go and visit this bunker, and it's very important, because that's where the Nazis at the time wanted to, they were preparing an alternate currency had their expansion plan come through. So you will see even this old currency, etc. So really, depending on where you are, we will show you a different way to experience a city. But the Rhine is beautiful, as is the Danube, as are many of these rivers in Europe, or actually all of them. It's beautiful, and this very part, the Rhine Gorge, it is something that you don't want to miss. So when you're going this way, it's great, because you will see the Rhine Gorge in the morning. And what you see there, for example, that's one of the only 2 castles in the Rhine Gorge that are still original. The one in the middle of the river there, it has a very easy name. It's called the Burg Pfalz-Grafenstein. So it's very easy German word. There are only 2, 26 castles that you will see that morning, but 24 of them had been destroyed by the French armies, either by Louis XIV or by Napoleon. They have all been rebuilt with the original stones, but you have the Marksburg and the Grafenstein here. These ones are the original ones, and that's a wonderful morning. You're cruising, you're on the sun deck, or maybe in the front of the ship. You're enjoying a Rudesheim coffee, which is actually, I don't know if I have the picture of it. So that's Burglanik is one of the castles that we visit, because you will. It's nice to see 26 of them, but you want to visit one. And this one we visited by, actually, it's an amazing visit, because you visit it at night with only candle lights. So it is lit up like the people in the Middle Ages were lighting the castle. And that's a unique experience. You won't see that anywhere else. But I was talking about the Rudesheimer coffee. So this is Rudesheim. So Rudesheimer coffee, you drink it. It's a very special coffee. It's made with a brandy called Asbach. And the Asbach brandy comes from this very little village here. So what do? You put the Asbach, you put 2 sugars, and then you flambe it. So you start burning it, the brandy, so that the alcohol goes away. After about 2 minutes, you pour the coffee on it. Then you put some whipped cream and some chocolate sparkles, and you drink that. So that's quite the experience. You're looking at all these castles, and you eat and you drink this little thing, and you still have a little bit of alcohol. We don't want to take all the alcohol away, so it's very, very nice. And then you arrive in Rudesheim, and you have a wonderful possibility to have a wine tasting in the vineyards, like you see here. And I can tell you, it's really a unique experience, because I told you that the wine world brought me to the river cruising world. And actually, the experience that we have now with the gentleman here in the middle, he was my master winemaker, and Adolf here, and his name is Adolf, believe it or not. But this tour that you will experience, we designed it, and it's really a unique experience. You're walking through the vineyards, and you have different stations where you will learn about the Riesling grape, because there are also many things. In the US, when I arrived in the US, everybody told, oh, no, we don't drink Riesling, it's sweet. And I was like, no, Riesling is not sweet. And 80%, actually 82% of the Riesling production in Germany is bone dry. But the Germans drink it. That's why you never see it here. And you will get to taste it. It is absolutely a delight. And this walk is very nice. If you don't want, no problem. We have a lot of things there. And these are the vineyards. So you have the Rhine River down there. But you have the possibility to go and take a cable car that will take you to the top of the cliff, to the national monument and the Niederwalddenkmal, where you have one of the most wonderful views on the entire Rhine Valley. This is, by the way, here, the widest spot of the Rhine. It's almost 1 mile wide. And so you have the possibility to take a bike ride through the vineyard. So you do an entire afternoon, 3.5 hours biking around, and almost flat. I mean, you must do a little bit of an effort in some places, but it's really easy. And before the question comes, do we use electric bikes? No, we use the good old method where you use your own muscles. And I will tell you that some other river cruise lines were starting to use electric bikes, and they're all now rolling back and coming back to normal bikes, because they've had so many accidents that this was becoming a real issue. So that's why the good old method is the good one. So you will be in Rudesheim over until the late evening. If you want to go and have dinner out, of course, everything is included on the ship. But if you want to go and have dinner out, you have beautiful, absolutely beautiful little restaurants there. And then the next day, you will be cruising, and we will be docked in Ludwigshafen, from where you will be able to visit Heidelberg. So Heidelberg is not on the Rhine River, it's on the Neckar River. So it's about 45 minutes drive to get there. So we go there by bus, and you will visit this wonderful castle that is there, and you will learn also about this red stone that you see everywhere. You see that this sandstone, as we call it, it is very red here. Why? Because of the concentration of iron in the ground. So it's a very famous area. You will see this red stone everywhere, and so you will visit the chateau. Heidelberg has the oldest university in Germany. It is a wonderful afternoon. You can visit the castle with the guides on your own. Have some free time. Come back down. There is a hike on the opposite side, actually, called the Philosopher's Path. That's a real hike. I mean, it's about 4 miles going up in the forest, but you have beautiful sights, and you learn about the entire area. Actually, you pass very close to the house of Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf, because she has a house there, and you might even see them. I mean, they're very well known in Heidelberg. They're here sometimes. I mean, most of the time. So a great city to visit again. But then you will have to go to France, because we've been to Germany for 4 days now. So we will take you to a very special part of France, Alsace. If you ask the Alsatians, you know, it's a very specific place, because between the war of 1870, the First World War, the Second World War, they changed in 70 years, they changed nationality 6 times. So if you ask an Alsatian, are you French or are you German? They will tell you that they're Alsatians. That's what they are. But it's a beautiful town, as you can see, and that's the old town. So with canals, I mean, it's completely surrounded. And the old town is an isle, actually, an island. And we spend the entire day there. It's a beautiful city. You have a very nice city tour in the morning, either, again, on bus and walk or by bike. You have a late starter tour, and then in the afternoon you can have either free time. We have shuttle buses going there and back and forth from the ship. You can, if you take, for example, a wine cruise, because we have wine-themed cruises, but we would even include a wine tasting in the afternoon to Le Gruber, which is one of the, or maybe the oldest inn in the city. Very beautiful place, 2 feet away from the, 100 feet away from the cathedral. And it's really a great time to be there. And you walk, and you have canals literally everywhere, and you can walk in all these very green areas, as you can see. Really a beautiful town that is Strasbourg. Then we will continue. We continue our way, and we go to Basel. So Basel is in Switzerland. I mean, Basel is the richest city. It's one of the largest cities in Switzerland. And that's also where we will have our disembarkation. So we, of course, will take our time. We will visit Basel. And now I'm talking for those of you who would continue to Lake Como. And why not continuing to Lake Como? Because, I mean, you should really continue, because now the post extension to Lake Como is for free. And of course, if you want to know about that, Tina will tell you more about it, of the pricing, etc., etc. But I will describe Lake Como and the area where we are in a few seconds. But what I can tell you already is it's about $3,000 value that is for free there. But before that, we will visit Basel, and you will visit the old town. You will see the cathedral. You will see the old town, the old town hall, which is beautiful. It's a red town hall, completely painted in red, with all the coat of arms of all the counties and the cantons that you have around Basel. So it's really a beautiful area to visit in the morning before heading to Lucerne. You will visit Lucerne around lunchtime, and you have lunch in Lucerne. And then in the afternoon, you will be driving to Lake Como. So the drive is about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So there will be a stop in between, but it's really scenic, because you're really driving through the Alps, and you arrive there. That's the lake. So it's a beautiful lake. If you want to Google it, I really encourage you to. I always say, if you want to go on a river cruise, it's a bit different from an ocean cruise, because on the ocean, really the ship is the destination. On the river, that's not the case. And it's always great to look at where you will be going and get some information about what you will see, because Lake Como has 13 little villages all around it. But that's just this view already. That's a great thing. And you will arrive. We will, and the first evening is kind of a rather relaxed one, because you will still you will have visited 2 cities. Granted, Lucerne is not big, but it's my favorite. I mean, if I had not moved to the United States, I would be living in Lucerne, and it's true, because I had. Yeah, that's my wife who changed that. So, but you will have visited these 2 cities. We will check in. You will have dinner. So when it comes to the post extension, the breakfast is included, but lunch and dinner is on your own. But still, you will be in Como. And I just wanted to show you this picture. This building here is the hotel. So that's the Hilton in Lake Como. And you really have, so most of our rooms are in the front. So you will have the view on the lake. And if you don't know what to do, but just come, that's the coolest part here. So that's the pool, the rooftop pool. And here you have a restaurant also, a rooftop restaurant. So really a great place for the first evening. You don't even want to go wandering anywhere. Just go there and you will have a great time. Now, the lake, that's pretty much 3 minutes walk from the hotel. You will be on the lake immediately, and that's really, you have all these little terraces, and you will visit, of course, Como, the village, the town, village of Como. You will visit it, of course, the next day. You will have some free time in the afternoon to do what you want. And what is also very important, the lake is very big, and the Lake Como. So we will take you also on a cruise, because you will have been cruising for a week. So we need to make sure that you don't get, that you don't miss too much the river cruise spirit. So that's why you have a few older, like the Concordia. The Concordia is the oldest one on Lake Como, but then this one is a ferry that you see there. But it's really great to see Lake Como by boat. Why? Because you come very close. You have, that in this area of the world, of Italy, you have a lot of masterpieces of architecture in terms of housing. Like, for example, this is the kind of village that you will come and see with the boat that you could not see from the land. And that's why it's super interesting to do this cruise and go around and really see this Tuscan architecture that you will have there. And that's what will happen on your last day in Lake Como. So it's 3 nights at Lake Como. And it includes, as I said, the tour, the visit, so the cruise. So quite a great time that you will have there. I just wanted to show you, that's the picture, that's inside the restaurant at the hotel. Very sleek design, and that's what you see more and more in Italy. I mean, I had the chance to go there, as I said, a few months ago, 18 months ago. And it's really this very modern design. But what is always, when you see this, I mean, when I saw it the first time, I was like, oh my goodness, there's no way I can sit on this. It's super comfortable. It looks like you will be sitting on a piece of wood, but it's really super comfortable. And it is, the service up there is very nice. And again, a friend of mine just went a couple of days ago because she lives there. Everything is great. They're reopening in this area of the world. A lot of controls, of course, but great things to expect when we will be going there. So that's pretty much what I have for you today. So what is very important, and of course we will open to questions in a few seconds, but what is very important is to contact Tina if you want to go, because really this offer where I said the Lake Como portion is for free, it runs out, it finishes on January 31st. We have extended it for 1 month because basically we were doing it just for December, but many people were on vacation, etc. And we received a lot of phone calls from our travel partners saying, look, there's no way I can present that to my guests. So that's why we've extended it. But as I mentioned to Tina, and she knows, I told her it's until the end of this month, and that's it. Now, if you want to know about more free land extensions, because we have this beautiful one, but we have 2 other ones, and Tina knows them. I mean, we have on the lower Danube, we have a 4-night land extension in Transylvania that is also for free on select dates. And in Bordeaux, you have a pre-cruise in Bilbao and San Sebastian in the Basque Country, in the Spanish Basque Country, and that's also for free until, as I said, January 31st. So now I will, everyone. Actually, now I just muted everyone. That's very smart. So if you want, I just asked to unmute. So if you have questions, what's happening? If you have questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer. Or maybe Tina, you have something to say. I know I've not stopped talking for 43 minutes.
I actually have a weekly newsletter that I send out. It's usually on destinations. Sometimes I send some tips, but the one thing that's always included is a list of these presentations and the links to sign up. So if that way you don't miss an opportunity to see some of the presentations that we have. And Sebastian has agreed to come back for 2 more. We have Egypt coming up and Holland and Belgium after that. So always good to sign up for my newsletter. You can do that on my website, vibranttravelco.com as well. for anyone that's not in the meetup group that I have. But anyway, I do encourage that, so that way you don't miss any. Okay, well, I guess
Exactly.
if we don't have any questions, I'll encourage you to, if this looks good, go ahead and deposit so you don't lose that opportunity to get one of the free extensions. 3 nights in Lake
Amazing
Como, that's
offer.
just
Yeah.
amazing. I'm so shocked about that. I think everyone jumped up and down when we heard about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't think that they would come with something like that at the marketing, but I mean, that's perfect. I mean, if people have the time, why not? Then you extend for 4 days and for not 1 cent more. Perfect.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay.
Okay,
well,
everyone.
Thanks,
Well,
you guys.
thank you,
Thank you.
Sebastian.
much.
Yeah, thank
Anytime.
you.
Have a great evening, and see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.